all these great, very
draw
soulful,
from all the greats. Yeah,
many influences. I try to bring it all together into one gumbo.
And you do a good job of. I was really impressed with the fact when you said that you use all live musicians. You're not, just prelaying all the tracks yourself. I like the feel of a bunch of people getting together, putting all of their different roots and feelings and influences together to create a sound. I think that's just something that's special when you do that. And I love the fact that you get.
You got to be able to capture them. You got to be able to capture the magic, is the way that we think of it. So we don't, there's no auto tune. There's nothing fake on this record. It is how it is played. So, and I think that's important because if you want to play this stuff out live, you need to be able to bring an authentic experience to it. And
exactly.
I just have fantastic players, and I really benefited from having a producer. Ace Acker produced this, and he was kind of in a band from the 70s called Law that just missed making it. They had toured with The Who and whatnot. Ace is a real musical genius, and he helped put this whole thing together. And, of course, I had a lot of support from the record company, Peacock Sunrise Records. So it was a real labor of love. And we're just finishing up the second album, actually. I'm in the studio tonight. We're finishing up the second album, which is much in the same vein.
We should have planted a mic there and eavesdropped on you.
Yeah, you had me when you mentioned auto-tune or the lack thereof. That got my attention because, as anybody that knows me knows, I think that auto-tune is something that should be against the law. I hate auto-tune. I really do. And I'll put it to you this way. My view of auto-tune is if you have talent, if you know what you're doing, if you can play the guitar or the piano or whatever it is that you're trying to do, if you can do it well, you don't need auto-tune. Auto-tune to me is, makes untalented people sound talented, and it's just not right.
I don't like the sound of it. You can instantly tell when it's being used, and it's massively overused. I don't mind people getting it right. We'll do a lot of takes to get things right. I'm reminded of a story of the great singer Dusty Springfield, who did a great album based in Memphis, right? Just amazing. And Dusty was so obsessive with her vocals that, she would redo single words until she got the phrasing perfectly right. So, she'd drop in single words as they were overdubbing. That's how obsessed she was. But it all came out of her mouth and her vocal cords.
And
she did something with the Pet Shop Boys that was just amazing. You remember that song, What Have I Done to Deserve This? By the Pet Shop Boys back in the 80s. And,
Dusty's as soulful of female singers you get,
Oh my! Yeah. She just wailed on that thing. It was amazing. Just
and that
amazing
Memphis album is a classic, one of my all-time favorite albums. The proof is in the pudding.
Yes, it is.
She was attention to detail, and the results paid off. It was an awesome album. I regret I never got to see her in person. Now you've got this album out now. Delta Tales. Tell us about the album.
Yeah, so Delta Tales is the album that song that you played, Free Will in China Blue, is the main single off the album, and Delta Tales is a set of songs, 11 songs, often around, I call it thematically coherent because it's got this whole Southern vibe to it, and it's songs of, the great themes of life, love, lost love, sin, redemption, damnation.
Yeah.
I always have that. I always got a bit of that, religious thing going on in my lyrics. So and it breaches Southern soul and Southern rock. We got some real rockin' songs on there also.
Yeah, you do. I got to hear the whole album, and Michael at MTS told me to go ahead and pick out the second cut myself. He wanted me to play that cut, Free Will in China Blue, and he told me to pick out the one I wanted to play next. I wound up choosing Down the Delta Road, which we'll be playing after we finish talking with you. So tell us a little bit about Down the Delta Road.
Sure. Well, Down the Delta Road is one of the more laid back. It even has a bit of a country sound to it. It's a song about a guy meets a woman who really takes his breath away while he's in Vicksburg, of all places, and it's a lot of evocative lyricism around southern images like magnolia trees and sweet gospel sounds and things like that. It's got a nice hook to it. It's interesting you picked that. It's often one of the ones that people bring up as a favorite. So there's a couple of songs that are more laid back like that, and a couple of rockers. We tried to cover a lot of bases in the album.
And you did every bit of that. And I picked Down the Delta Road because of the fact that it is a little more laid back, but yet it brings out what you're trying to do with the music. You get the feel of it, and I really like that track. Now we've got about 30 seconds left, John. I want to give you, as I do all of our guests, a chance to sell yourself. Tell the folks how they can find you, how to contact you, follow you, and, of course, buy your music.
Sure. So all things Sun King Rising can be found at sunkingrising.com, and you'll find pointers to all of our music. You can buy our music anywhere. We have a big following on Facebook. I think we're up to around 14,000 fans. We're currently finishing the second album, and we're planning to take the band out on the road, hopefully in the summer of 2022, in support of both albums, because we missed out because of COVID on really going out on the road with this album.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to have you keep in mind now, John Bon Jovi is down in the Naples, Fort Myers area of Florida. I'm out in Tempe, Phoenix area. So if you hit any one of those areas, give us a holler, because I'd love no more to have a chance to come out and meet you in person and definitely hear you in person. So keep that in mind.
It'll be a big show, I'll tell you that. It's going to be, it'll be 10, 11 people on stage. It's going to be like Joe Cocker and Mad Dogs and Englishmen.
Awesome. The more the merrier. I look forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, John Blangero, and the album is Sun King Rising, and here he is with Down the Delta Road.
Get a girl from Vicksburg waiting for his train, and her conversation started cool as they watched the summer rain. Then all he'd ever wanted was to spend his time with her, running from the madness of this crazy mixed-up world to the Delta Road.
There you go, Down the Delta Road with Sun King Rising, Mr. John Blangero. We want to thank him. We want to thank Stuart Epps for dropping by today, sharing their music and stories with us. We want to thank you for joining us, John Bon Jovial. It's time to take us home.
Yes, indeed it is. Been a great, great show with some great music on it, and these guys at Sun King Rising, I like them. They've got a nice, unique sound to them. Very, very well put together band. Okay, folks, hey, you did it again. Thank you so much. You spent another perfectly good hour with us here at the David Bowers Awards, and we are grateful, seriously grateful for your presence today. The David Bowers Awards is broadcast around the world from the studios of Computer Help USA in Naples, Florida, and, of course, from the Valley of the Sun in Tempe, Arizona. And we are available for free on most of the major streaming services, including now podpage.com/The David Bowers Awards. You can help the David Bowers Awards support indie artists and music by clicking on the link at the end of this episode on Anchor FM if you go there and make a donation. We would really appreciate it if you could help out. Click the follow link on the David Bowers Awards on Blog Talk Radio, Anchor FM, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and, of course, Facebook. And join us next week for the David Bowers Awards, Saturday on WRFC FM 106.3. That's Rochester Free Radio at noon Eastern, and Blog Talk Radio Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and 7 p.m. UTC. So until next week, for the David Bowers Awards and all of the crew of moronic folks here, I would include myself, I am the lovably and legendary John Bon Jovial, saying we'll see you next week. Be good to yourselves. Get that booster if you haven't gotten it yet, and let's get rid of this pandemic. We'll see you next week right here on the David Bowers Awards.